Hello, everyone. This is Barbara Ling, and it is so wonderful to see all of you here today. Now, a wonderful opportunity has just popped up for me due to one of my technical opportunities for future gray hairs. Everybody who is attending here is showing up as friend. So when you do happen to participate and share your questions, please do make sure to share your name so I can tell who is on here and who is asking the questions. And I am certain we have a number of folks who have attended our past Perking Up Profit show. And, well, today I have an excellent treat in store for you. Now, today's topic deals with Hangouts curation, and I have with me our special guest, Andrea Schmitz. So you could say hi, Andrea.
Hey, hi, Andrea. No, hi, everybody. Hey, friends. Thank you for joining us today.
Very good, very good. And what we're going to be sharing today, I mean, this is really great actionable stuff here now. Now, you might have heard one of our earlier Perking Up Profit show where we had Zane Miller talk about Google Hangouts and how to incorporate that into your business online. Well, get this, okay? Andrea, who just basically burst onto the scene about 6 weeks ago, we'll be talking more about that, she has determined and she has devised a particular formula entitled the Hangout Curation Formula that takes the whole concept of curation to the next level with authority building via Google Hangouts, via your website, via Facebook. And now also, Bill Vick here. Bill asked the question, why is this particular show being given via webinar and not via Hangouts? That is an excellent question. The main reason for me, since I am the one who is scheduling this and I currently have all of my opt-ins tied into GoToWebinar, I just need an extra 7,000 hours per day to tie that in as well. But ideally, the next Perking Up Profit show that you will see will be done via Hangouts. And so we're going to be starting rather shortly, and as always, I do talk about how things are going over here. A beautiful, clear day in New Jersey. Our heat wave is broken. How are things over there? I see now bunches and bunches of friends, and I have no idea who is answering here. But Andrea, how is it over there in Germany?
I actually had the heater on today. It was cold, but the sun has actually come out now, and it stopped raining. So it looks like it's going to be a lovely evening in Germany.
Very nice. What is the temperature normally now around there?
We're usually actually pretty much the same as you guys. I think you're a bit warmer than we are usually. But like I come from Toronto, and it's comparable.
Toronto has just a wee bit of snow.
Not right now.
Alrighty, and well, the room is still filling up, but let me go see. We're now after 2 o'clock, so well, let us now begin. And also, there are going to be 2 presenters. I will be presenting, and then I will be switching the presentation over to Andrea. So please do bear with us while this happens, and let us now begin. Alrighty. For those who are new to Barbara Ling and Perking Up Profits in general, well, who am I? Well, now, I've been an online marketer now since 1997. When it comes to marketing online, you know, I've been there, I've done that. And marketing events, for example, I've been to 5 in the past. And when I was at these, you know, I got everything that I wanted. But the thing that I've learned now since attending these events is growing my own authority online. This is something that Google Hangouts definitely helps and definitely enables. And now about Andrea, well, let me talk a bit about Andrea, and then she can also give a brief blurb here. Andrea, as you will see, she is the creator of the Hangout Curation Formula. But what is so incredibly neat and such an inspiring aspect is that virtually 6 weeks ago, the space in which we all are, we never heard of Andrea. She just basically appeared like a bat out of heck, and she took action. And what she's accomplished during these past 6 weeks, she's gone from the inspiration to creation to delivery to best-selling status, and very, very inspiring as well. Andrea, would you like to give more of a background about you when you are taking over the presentation?
I will actually have a small section in mine, so a little build up, and then I'll tell you a little bit about myself.
Excellent, excellent. Alrighty, so today we're going to learn all about Hangouts, authority, Kindle, best-selling, author status, mapping formulas, really, really great stuff. So if we have any questions or so, feel free to definitely share your questions or ideas. As always, we love having interactive shows. And let me now also just delve a bit more into this. The thing that was a moose. The thing that really impressed me about Andrea, besides the moose, was, hold on for a second. Moose! Quiet. Thank you. As I was saying, the thing that impressed me about Andrea, she basically saw an opportunity. She connected the dots. She basically took what she learned in one of our previous shows, and this was when we had a, sorry about that, Don Wilson centric show. She took action. She wasn't one of these folks who just sat, listened, and said, well, that was nice. Let me go and do something about it some year. Bam, the next freaking day, she was on it. She made things happen extraordinarily inspirational. And you know, the results you're going to see, they speak for themselves. So, in preparation for our class now, what I want you to do right now, all right, important, silence your mobile phone, okay? Put it on vibrate, put it aside, pause all of your social networking, unless, of course, that you want to share that you're on the Perking Up Profit show and you're learning great stuff from Barbling and Andrea right now. Also, open a notepad file for notes, okay? I've seen Andrea's slides. They are impressive. There's a lot of information that you are going to be getting from this show. If people ask you, tell them you are busy because, you know, right now, this is focus time. What we're about to share, this can literally change your authority, your business, how you generate your profits online, okay? So let me now give you the same promise that you see in every one of our Pricking Up Profit show, okay? You are going to have to stay with us right now to the very, very end. This show, this class, when we're talking packed with value until the very last minute, and upon the completion of this show, Andrea and I will be hanging around here to answer any questions that you might have, okay? Now, the amount of information, the quality of the resources that you are going to be alerted to, I guarantee you, this is going to make you want to jump at the special offer that we have put together for everybody on this call at the very end. And I know a lot of marketers, a lot of presenters, they hit you with that in the middle, but I like being transparent, okay? So I am thoroughly confident after seeing everything that has been shared by Andrea, seeing the quality of her work, it's just going to be a no-brainer for you. And so now, does this sound like a great deal, okay? We're going to be giving you actionable information, stuff that you can take and apply to your business the very instant that this call is at an end, and you will then stay and listen to everything it is that we have to offer, to listen also to the benefit at the end, because honestly, it is going to streamline how you do business in the future. So is this fair to ask? I mean, do we have a deal? I need to see some yeses scrolling across the screen here. So yes, yes, and I'm seeing all these yeses. They're from friends.
They're all coming from friends.
All coming from friends. This is amusing. I am going to have to definitely blog about this. So, all righty. So now it is time for the Hangout curation formula. And bear with us now. We're going to change presenters to Andrea. And Andrea, you may now take it away.
Thank you very much for that warm welcome, Barb. And as you know, my name is Andrea Schmitz, and I want to take you on a journey.
Hold on for a second, Andrea. Is your screen showing?
Is my screen not showing? It should be showing.
Alrighty. Let's now just go back. Hang on here for a second.
Show my screen. Wait a minute. There we go. Now I'm showing.
Everybody, are we seeing Andrea's screen? There we go. Very
okay.
good. Go for it.
All right. I'm Andrea Schmitz, as you've heard, and thank you for that lovely introduction. I want to take you on a journey to witness what I believe is the biggest opportunity since the internet. And I know that's a big, fat, bold claim, and I want you to be skeptical. I want you to be skeptical and think through what I'm saying here. And having said that, I can promise that when you spend a few minutes with me this evening or this afternoon, you're going to agree with me. Or at least you're going to have learned something about yourself. So I'm going to give you the #1 secret, something that is really like the magic button that can dramatically change your life and multiply your value while you apply some very basic principles. Before we go any further, I want to promise you right now that I'm going to share the whole bulk of the Hangout curation formula, and I'm going to share a secret at the end. Okay?
Very good.
Also, that's German, sorry. I want you to think of it like this. If you could go back 10 years from now and keep all the knowledge and wisdom that you have today, what would you change in your life right now? If you could go back with that knowledge, know-how, and build that platform, what would you do? What would you do in your niche? I know what's standing in your way because it's the same thing that was standing in my way. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're not being recognized for your talents or your accomplishments, your expertise. You have 10 years of knowledge, but you're not there yet. And if this describes you, I also know what you're craving, and I know what you're about, and I know where you want to go. What's standing in your way is the desire to make a contribution, to make a difference, to make a massive impact, to help people. You're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner or a speaker, an expert, an affiliate marketer. You have this knowledge that you want to give, but your problem is that you have to earn money. The problem is that you're stuck between running a business, owning a business, and having an income. At the end of the day, you're still punching the clock, and you're trading time for money. You want to get paid for your knowledge and your know-how and your expertise, but you're working. It's enjoyable, maybe, profitable, maybe, rewarding, maybe, but you're still trading time for money.
If I could just jump in there, Andrea, that was the story of my life for many, many days, weeks, months, years. The ability to work smarter, work less, earn more, that's something that I think that anybody should be striving for, because when you start putting in these 10, 12, 14, 18-hour days, it drains you. It's not a good situation at all. Continue.
And especially if you're doing this as an employee, you're doing this to increase someone else's business and not your own. And I know that some of us are struggling. Some of us are actually working full-time day jobs and dabbling with the internet and trying to get somewhere. Some of us have totally taken that leap of faith and are struggling away every day just to make sure that enough money comes in. I know because it's me. It's my story. Just like Barb said, one of the things I shared with Barb in the background was simply this. People, you know how I started this whole thing? I said, my question to you guys was, what if I needed to have $100 yesterday?
I remember that.
Yeah, exactly. So this was, the first webinar that came was Sunday was Dawn's, and then came Dennis's. And it was, what if I needed $100 yesterday? And my issue is, or my problem is the consistency. I might get $2,000 in this month, I might get $50 in next month. And that's really not a great place to be. It's a great place if you get the 2,000. It's pretty scary if you get the 50.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so what we're going to talk about is how you get paid for your knowledge, your experience, your expertise, and trade real value instead of time, and to open up multiple revenue streams. And what I'm going to share with you basically is how all of these dots started to connect while listening to a series of webinars that Barb was having.
Mm-hmm.
The Facebook, the $5 a day with Dennis, and then moving into the Hangout curation. And in between those two, Barb launched her PC Espresso. And that got all of, that got all of the dots being connected. So Hangout curation formula is about being an authority in your niche. It's about building your platform. It's about who you know, what you know, your list, your influence, and your ability to have a big impact. It's giving you the leverage you need for freedom, control, and financial independence. And I'm not following along with my slides, so I'm going to go out on a limb here. How's that? I have a feeling. I also know exactly why you're struggling to succeed, and I know why you have not yet been seen, found, or discovered. I know why your intent and your efforts have not paralleled all the work that you've done, and I know why, because what did Barb say when she introduced me? She said 6 weeks ago, you guys didn't know who I was.
Yep.
I didn't exist. I didn't have a platform. Nobody had seen me. Nobody had found me. No one had discovered me. Doesn't mean I didn't bring any skill sets when I came in to meet Barb, but it meant I was a nobody when I showed up. Okay? So first and most importantly, you need to know this. The problem is not you, and it's not your message. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Both the diagnosis and the cure for your business, your professional and personal challenges, can be summarized in one simple word, and that is platform. Okay? No matter how great your message is, no matter how wonderful your story is, no matter what your gift is to give to anybody, no matter how great an expert you are, no matter how much heart you invest in your mission, if you don't have a platform, people will not hear you. And I know this because you are me. All right?
Mm-hmm.
I come from a nonprofit world where for years I was publishing paper periodicals to inform the sponsors and engage the community in our projects. I spent years chasing information I needed to put together compelling articles, optically impressive layouts, smooth transitions, and learned what a call to action means the hard way, because nobody talked like that when I was doing this. So I worked my butt off to get those conversions higher and higher until I finally reached these unheard of response rates for the industry, achieving 100% fulfilled commitments on volunteer work, even within hours of having started a campaign. And I say campaign in, what do you call them, little quotes, because we didn't call them campaigns back then either. And this all led to, guess what? That's right, it led to burnout. It led to a dead, tired Andrea, once aflame with a noble cause that I was supporting and proud to be in such a pivotal position, and I was frustrated beyond belief. And I spent more and more hours for the same amount of pay. And the hardest, really the most bitter part of it all, was basically waiting until the very last minute to get everything in, because I was dependent upon other people to get me their information. And if they didn't get it in on time, or read between the lines, if I didn't work overtime after they handed everything in too late, I looked bad. And that just not a good place to be. And that brings me to 9 years ago. Now remember, I started by saying, what would you have if you went back 10 years? So 9 years ago, if I go back 10 years, I was 1 year before quitting. But 9 years ago, the opportunity finally came at the crazy pace that life was going, and we were expecting our fourth child, sorry.
Ow.
our fourth child, and that's where I made my exodus. I never lost touch with the nonprofits I've worked with, and I've always kept my fingers on the pulse and the shifts and the changes, especially in the publishing market space. And to be honest, I have never been more excited than I am now about publishing. Today we have tools. Today we have everything at our fingertips, free tools combined correctly that can give our efforts a massive boost. And as you see here, life is looking colorful and rosy again. The ultimate perking up profits. Andrea Schmitz. I make self-publishing profitable and fun, even if you flunked grade 8 English.
Nice.
Yes. I want to share with you right now what has happened. I am actually a guest, I can hardly believe it, at Barb Link's Perking Up Profits webinar. And this is a result of curation. And we're going to talk about that. Curation, but also rubbing shoulders with the right people who can help you get your message out further. What I'm showing you in the webinar is going to be going on the example of Quilter's Pin, but the actual very fact that I'm here and sharing that with you is also living out what I'm teaching you. I'm not sure if am I getting that out right?
Yep.
Okay.
Basically, you took action and you got yourself visible and noticed by the power marketers, and here you are on our show.
That's right. So it all has to do, or it starts with the power of positioning. You have to establish yourself as the go-to person in your niche, and when you are positioned properly, you instantly increase your value. You can charge 2 times, 5 times, 10 times more, or you can sell 2 times, 5 times, 10 times more products. The media will come to you, and you can leverage your authority and credibility to build your brand and business. The good news is that you have everything you need to know it's already inside you. It just has to be pulled out of you and presented in a way that is perceived as valuable to your target market. So the Hangout curation formula is simply a manner of using the online tools, which would be Google+, Hangouts on Air, YouTube, and Amazon, the largest bookstore in the world, to do what business people have been doing ever since the first tulips were traded from Switzerland to the Dutch. We start with positioning yourself. You have to know the solution that you bring to a problem that someone has in your niche. This is exactly what Barb teaches in PC Espresso, or probably also in the other piece, the other product creation product.
Product creation espresso.
One solution.
Yep.
Exactly. You need to know what that is, and you have to position yourself as the person to bring that solution. And once you've positioned yourself in your heart and in your mind and in your head, then you can use the tools that I'm presenting to you today to go out there and get your name out there and establish your footprint, presenting your solution to the world. And after that, you're going to publish that. You're going to publish it to Amazon Kindle. Why? Because it's the fastest way to get your name out there. It's international, and oh my gosh, it's on Amazon, which is, as I just said, the largest bookstore on the planet. Okay? Amazon author page will also continue to establish your authority and your expert status. Have you ever been to Amazon and checked out Barbara Ling? She has an author page, and she's doing some pretty cool stuff over there. So these are things that this is authority, an authority site that has Barb's information just sitting there, waiting to establish her or to further cement her authority. Anyway, where are we? Publishing. And that will bring you to the next area. Once you've gone and done this, you move on to your bigger ticket item that solves more, it lets you profit more, it lets you move from this to merely having a Kindle book out there to actually building an entire business or expanding your existing business. And I will demonstrate this in a moment, so don't worry about it. But basically, just using the Hangout, the Hangout curation process is the beginning of a snowball effect in a positive way for your business. And after that, you start to promote. Actually, I'm going to show you how the promoting starts pretty much right from the get-go, and where you start getting other people to promote your information for you, which is, again, something that has been demonstrated over and over again through the dynamic that I've been enjoying with Perking Up Profits. If you've been observing that, Barb has, and I didn't ask you to do this, but she has been taking some of the posts that I've been posting over the past weeks and using them in her newsletter, casting my name out to, I don't know, a whole bunch of friends I hear who are out there on the webinar. So finally, you're going to use all of the channels that are possible out there, and you're going to sell your products and services, and you're going to be in a zone of profit. So if you stick around, I'll explain how I got to this place, and I'm going to explain the dirty little secret about the formula, but that's at the end. Okay, so I have used the Hangout curation formula already in the pre-launch and in this past week after the launch. I've used it with balloon industry, the chiropractor industry, the marketing industry, programmers serving quilting and craft and trade show industries, real estate agents. Coming up are pro golf and financial services. Psychology we've already had, equine, and a marketing company. So that's just a list of a tip of the iceberg, but I'm going to use as my example today, I'm going to use the quilter's pin. Why? Because it's the best example that I think that can show you, A, how you can go from semi-zero to a solid strategy. It stems from the very beginning of when I stepped on the plan in Perking Up Profits, which was Dawn's Facebook marketing webinar. So taking top.
Andrea, if I could just jump in here and mention Quilter's Pin. That is a niche-specific group or niche-specific Facebook group or niche-specific, well, niche, I suppose. Quilters, people who make quilts, right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And what I want everybody on this call to internalize is this is a niche example that you can take and apply to whatever niche you're currently focusing on as well. Right?
That's right. Whatever. That's right. That's right. That's why I took this, because it's a lot easier than, well, it's easier to transfer to other niches. Anyway, Robert Frost said that talking is a hydrant in the yard, and writing is a faucet upstairs in the house. And opening the first, so opening the hydrant, takes the pressure off the second. And that's exactly what the Hangout curation formula is based upon. Talking, having a conversation, allowing you to get to the writing process of getting your information down and going to publishing. And I'm going to show you according to the Quilter's Pin. Now, the Quilter's Pin is not something terribly new. This was a program that I launched back in November, December last year. And the picture that you see here is from my membership site. Basically, I wrote a book called Quilter's Pin, Pinterest Strategies Piece by Piece for Quilters, the #1 guide to Pinterest for quilters, and behind that is a membership site showing people who do craft and sell craft online how to use Pinterest to their greatest advantage. So I didn't start from absolutely zero, but before you start saying, oh my gosh, she took all of the people who are in her membership site and stuck them over to her Facebook thing and said, success, success. That's not true. Here are just a few of the testimonials from the program, just to show you that I put those on the sales page. There's also the book that's sold with 13 5-star reviews and 1 3-star review. The 3-star review thought it was going to be a book on quilting, and so they were disappointed because I didn't show them how to quilt. Although the title does say Pinterest Strategies. Anyway, what I got a kick out of today, I just checked just today, because these things do fluctuate. I'm actually on number 59 in all Kindle books for Crafts and Hobbies reference, and I got a kick out of this. I'm number 80 for direct marketing. So that's my ranking today for Amazon, which is pretty funny. But the clout comes just basically, if you say you've published a book, that's where the clout comes. This is all going into a membership site, and it leads the members to understand social media and how to sell their craft online. Now we go over to Facebook, and this is what I started mentioning pretty much right out the gate after Dawn's webinar, and that is that I'm starting this Quilter's Pin, and I ran an ad, cost me about $100. Everything's documented over at Perking Up Profits, and I built it up to about 132% engagement on Facebook. Now before you start saying, oh, she just pulled her membership site over there, the membership site has no idea that I've got the Facebook group running. In the Facebook group, they're just there because they like to make quilts. They have no idea that I've got a social media group training membership site elsewhere. But they will come together. Okay, so the plan is this: to take Quilter's Pin on Facebook fan page further, so just getting a deeper engagement there, and then to use the Hangout curation formula to interview quilters while I write a book from those interviews, which brings me to publishing, which is further positioning, and then allow the quilters who were interviewed to promote the book and the brand to grow the fan page naturally. I do not want any of my friends here, unless you're quilters, please don't go and like the page because it'll ruin my page rank. I only want people who really like the page. So asking a whole bunch of people or going to Fiverr and getting a whole bunch of likes on your page isn't going to help you if you're not engaging the people who are on your page. I'm going to move that into products. Open up a Quilter's Pin shop, which is what I was doing before I knocked my ankle out. Totes, tees, and other marketables. So that's a smaller end, easily outsourced portion. I'm going to sell to individuals as well as custom designs to the quilt industry. So pulling together the membership and the Facebook and the cumulative authority there, and start going after the larger fish, right? And then the social media packages to the quilt industry. So those are for higher retainer monthly services. I hope you're beginning to see how some of the pieces are being put together. I'm connecting the dots. And I will tell you how this is all going to be tied into I'm going to show you the formula in just a minute. So this will actually allow me to profit. Everything is outsourceable. The store, the custom designing is outsourceable. The Facebook page can be outsourced. The membership can be outsourced. The niche-specific books can be published. And more higher-end gigs can be brought in. And now we come to the Hangout curation formula, which is on the example of Quilter's Pin. And all you're doing is basically 3 bulk things. You're going to be hosting a Hangout interview that automatically gets posted to YouTube. And there's a tiny little thing that most people don't tell you, but YouTube will actually transcribe your videos for you. And the Hangout curation formula shows you exactly where to just go pick up the transcription of your interview. You're going to take those transcriptions, put them together, and publish a book to Amazon. So first you do is you determine who your interview partners are going to be. I did this through the Facebook group. And you're going to determine your topic. For me, today, this is what I did today. I put up a graphic saying, now interviewing all men who quilt, professional or personal, for personal pleasure. We're going to write a book called Revealed, Men and Their Machines, highlighting quilters with a passion. I've already got 2 people committing to do an interview with me.
I love that title.
People are representing. These 2 people are. You know, I was playing with coming out of the closet, but I thought that was too much words. I didn't want to get myself into that trouble, potential trouble. But this was this morning, Germany time, so it was, I don't know, probably around 5:30 New York time or something like that. I have now got 2 people in the meantime committed to be each a chapter, 2 men. And by the end of the week, I expect to have 5 or 6 chapters together, and that will be enough to go forward with a book. So I have Tim Latimer. He says, sure, why not? And gives me his credentials. Now watch this. We've determined our topic. We've sent out the invitations. So Tim, he took the bait, right? And now this is what he did. You can sort of see paled out in the background is the ad. And these are the people who shared it. Now I shared it twice. I shared it once. Actually, I shared it on my own wall, and then I shared it in a group, Quilts, Vintage, and Antiques, which I'm in. And Tim is also in there. Tim saw that, came to the page, said he's interested. And this is what the very top is. He shared my photo. He started to promote the book before the book has even been written. Yeah?
That's pretty cool.
So, yeah, it gets better. So we set the dates for the Hangouts, and that's basically where I am with these 2 men. The Hangout curation formula will show you all the steps. This is really just a very vague sketch. We have to secure the Google account, set the date for the interview, and actually hold the Hangout. And between holding one, because if I'm holding multiple Hangouts, each Hangout is with 1 person and it's representing 1 chapter, then I've got a couple of chapters to do, or a couple of interviews to do, a couple of Hangouts to do before I can grab all the transcripts and connect the dots. So in this gap time, there's some pretty cool things that we can do. First of all, we thank the person who gave us the interview. We send a little thank you card. Remember your mom, she used to make you sit down after Christmas and say, "Dear Aunt Mabel, thank you for the lovely skirt you sent me." Whatever it was, we say thank you. And there's a really neat twist on press releases that I give you in the formula. I'm not going to go into any more details than that, but basically in this gap time, you can be writing your introduction and conclusion, you can be sending out press releases, and you definitely want to be thanking the people who took part in your curation process. So, I'm just going to skip that one. So this brings us into a circle basically where we're going to continue hosting those interviews until we get all of them done, and then we will go to YouTube, grab the transcript, connect the chapters, put on your introduction and your conclusion and make it nice and smooth, and then we move to Amazon. In the Hangout curation formula, I have instructional videos that will show you how to format your book, and also how to upload it. All you need to do is get a cover, put it on top of there, and publish to Amazon. There is a section where I have optional paid services. You do not need them. Okay, so up until now we've spent only nothing, which is pretty cool. So once you've published to Amazon, you can send out more press releases because you as an industry or a niche person or as a business owner have now published a book, and that is press releasable. All right, you're going to come to industry thought leaders, which is basically the umbrella under which Hangout Curation Formula is being presented to you today, and I will syndicate your information from there. Plus, if you purchase Hangout Curation Formula, you will be syndicated in Install magazine, which has 7,000 plus readers. It's a digital magazine, and we would love to present your business there. So it's giving you even more exposure. And you go to your influencers and you thank them again. And if you happen to get a print version of your book, you can mail them a print version of your book. You know how stoked they're going to be? Guess how many people are going to tell on Facebook that they've been featured in a book? Yeah, so the whole thing starts to move around like this. You got a whole circle going of them talking about, wow, I just had a chapter published in a book, go and have a look at it. Two things are happening, or two things are left to do. You're going to repeat this, you're going to take another survey, you're going to find out what your group, your demographic, your target audience wants. You're going to find new interviewees, and you're going to publish a second curated book because now you know how to do it, and it's drop dead easy. And you're going to continue to drive traffic, to continue to grow your brand, increase your sales. For me, increase the sales of my Quilters Pin Shop, increase my brand, my reach, and my viral clout. So, as I grow the fan page, I'm also going to inform the membership. I'm going to pull them over so that they're also being trained to fulfill things for me. For example, picking up higher end gigs. This opens the door to retainer services, and more clouts means more exposure, means more sales in the store, and it also means I can increase my retainer fees, and it starts to snowball. You don't have to take my word for it though. Christina Abella. She and I both wrote our books simultaneously, and we worked on it. If you actually buy a copy of the Quilter's Pin from Amazon, you will see that I am sharing her book and recommending her book from within my book, and she does the same for me. Christina Abella is a programmer of 30 plus years, and she makes websites for the craft industry. And this morning I had a hangout with Christine. And after I had the hangout, she sent, and there's the copy and paste from Facebook, I just sent the link of the video to 2,290 subscribers. So I've got some more clout going out there. That's immediate exposure. That is promotion happening from before the book is even written. And within 2 hours, this is what happened for Christine. She had 4 people contact her, and she has now got leads worth 5 figures within 2 hours of doing the interview with me. And 3 hours later, she had 10 opt-ins on the book-related list, and each book has a list, not something that Barb teaches you, to find monetization or methods to get a hold of the people even after they get your book, from within your product. Yeah, so she has 10 opt-ins there and 3 book sales. But the point is simply this. If you go at it, who asked? Someone asked on Perking Up Profits, what was Debbie Bernstein, could it be? She asked, what is your,
Bernstein.
Was it planning? She was asking about planning.
Yes.
What was your plan? And I said, well, I plan what do I want to be in 10 years, and I break it down and go backwards. That's basically what I'm presenting to you here. I'm not just presenting to the fact that you can publish a book to Kindle and it will give you clout, because it will give you clout. It will automatically give you clout. Christine Abela, you will see if you go and watch the webinar that I did with her, she has, since publishing her book, she has tripled her business in a month. Like each month she does 3 times more business than she did a year ago, and she's doubled her prices simply because she published a book. No, there's no other reason for it. It gave her that clout, okay? And you can do this with any niche. If you start today, if you pick a niche, what I always found was helpful is if it's visual, if there's something where you can share, because Pinterest and Facebook, they go so well if you have some great pictures that you can share, right? Visuals are helpful. Irrational behavior is helpful. Ask the husband of any quilter. ask them how much material and fabric his wife has in the house, and you will understand that quilting is an irrational niche. And, and passion is helpful, all right? So you need to find out, once you have your niche, you want to find out what goes viral. So go see Barb's webinar with Don Wilson to understand Facebook for niche marketing. And that's what I'm presenting to you today with the quilter's pin, because that's how I'm going after it. And you're going to test various elements. I went in there with a certain specific understanding of what I anticipated to happen, and it didn't. It simply did not happen the way I thought it was, but I was always open. Just like I'm engaging with you in perking up profits, I'm always sitting there going, where are the dots that I can connect? What did I write today about the images that Barb uses to basically, like Pavlov, to condition us to expect the morning question. So these kind of things, you're always looking, but it wasn't, I'm not sitting there waiting for Barb to post that, but I'm noticing, and that's what I'm doing with my Facebook page. I'm noticing how are my people reacting to what I think they would. I'm asking questions. I'm also asking questions in other groups just to see how those quilters are doing, right? So I'm testing various viral elements. And I go to my competition. Every Facebook page that has anything to do with quilting, for example, I go there and I study and I look, for example, at their graphics and I see what goes viral. Everything that's been shared more than 10 times, I know it. I've got a note and I've got a file folder and I know that it's there. And I model it. Just like I'm modeling a lot of what Barb does, I model it over in the niche. You don't really have to go very far. I swear, in Perking Up Profits, you're going to learn everything you need. And this Hangout curation formula to really go somewhere. You can find your interviewees anywhere and drive them back to your Facebook page. So you don't have to do it all over Facebook. I just found that Facebook is extremely, extremely valuable. So you have unique content and you're going to share it. You now have Hangouts on YouTube. You're going to post those to Facebook, Pinterest, your flagship site. Okay, you're going to make graphics, and I showed you a few of them already over on the pup site. You're going to make them. You're going to share them with your interviewees. You're going to post them to your Facebook page, and you're going to tag the interviewees. If they're on Facebook, tag them. Why? It shows up on their wall, on their profile wall, and all of their friends see it. And the comments that they put on that wall posting actually come back to your page. Post those graphics to Pinterest and on your flagship site, and use this to pump your network and exposure. And that's only through having a 15, 20-minute conversation with someone, which you're going to have then transcribed for free while you sleep, eat, drink, go have a great time, spend time with your family. YouTube is transcribing that for you. And then you have your book. And you have all of this information that you can start curating and throwing out to your various platforms, Pinterest and so on and so forth. If you do not have a high-end product, like me, I had the membership site from Quilter's Pin beforehand. You do not have to say, well, I can't do that because I don't have that in the back end. You find someone with whom you can buddy up. You get affiliate or JV action going. So if I did not offer social media services, I'd sell the leads to someone who does. Okay? There was one more point on there that I forgot. You can think of stores like Amazon, Zazzle, Cafe Press. You can take your visuals to other products and sell them from your site, maybe. Here's an example of one of the things that I did with Zazzle. I'd never heard of Zazzle. That's another thing that came up from Perking Up Profits. I said, okay, I've got these graphics. People are picking them up like crazy. What can I do with them? How can I monetize them? How can I sell them? Someone says, oh, why don't you go to Zazzle? Cool. What's that? So I figured it out, all right? So I curate one low-end product, which could be this T-shirt right here, and I sell it from my niche store. I sell full done-for-you social media services because I can take this T-shirt now and I can modify it and I can put on a company's name on that, a quilting company's name. Say they're going to a trade show, and I can modify that for them, or tote bags. Okay, and once I've got that foot in the door, I can do social media services for them. I can sell e-commerce setups, which I pass on to Christine and get a commission for, yeah? Or I can sell lead generation. So I hope you see how this one little tiny book that I could be doing in some niche could actually just really be the product of love, something that I really, really like. I really, really love quilting, which isn't necessarily true. It was a pure rational decision for me, but you could do this with a niche that you really, really love, okay? And to think further, how can you go to the larger end? By the way, I do this with industry thought leadership. So this is how it actually all started. The very first product, if you remember correctly, before I got to this Hangout thing, the Hangout was the third product that I'd done since hitting Barb's Perking Up Profits. The first one was a basic HTML formatting service for editing and formatting for Kindle. Remember my story. Up until 9 years ago when I stopped working, I was working with nonprofits and I was working with publishing and I was going frustrating like crazy. So now I'm like, okay, I can use that information that I have and the knowledge that I have and use it in a different manner. So my low end, my absolute low end is $7. I sell the HTML template. And I've already sold a couple of 279 HTML formatting, so that means you don't have to take the template. I'll actually fill the template for you. And I will sell full done-for-you publishing services to offliners starting at $947 and going upwards. And I'm going to sell more services on retainer. These are what I'm planning on doing with the Hangout curation formula and with the industry thought leaders. But there's more. This very process can be repurposed and target specific niches. So right now, as a result of the curation that I did last week with Francis Torson, who's a real estate agent, we're working on making this over and repositioning this purely for real estate agents. How can real estate agents use Hangout curation formula to increase their reach within their community? They can interview principals from schools, they can interview coaches, they can interview local politicians, local what do you call them, authorities, local celebrities would be the word that I'm looking for.
Community leaders as well, too.
And I have a few other ways to repurpose it. Ex-community leaders, exactly. So the same with Quilter's Pin, which also can be repurposed. I can take that to a different niche. We have someone at Perking Up Profits who does scrapbooking. I mean, anything that's visual and crafty. So it's wash, rinse, and repeat once all the moving parts are taken care of. So if you come after it with a very large vision of where you want to be in 10 years' time, yeah, and now that I've laid out, I'll offer you, I'm going to put all these slides together as a PDF, and you can have them. I know it's a lot of information as a bonus along with the Hangout curation formula. But you're going to be positioning yourself regardless of your niche or industry. Offliners can do this as well. As you'll notice that I basically was targeting offliners with this, but it gave you the example for people who are working purely online. No matter how much experience you have, no matter how competitive your market is, no matter how much pressure is on you, you can create a platform. By completing this workbook, you will be equipped to use both Google Hangouts and YouTube to catapult your authority to the next level simply by having a chat with influential people within your industry and by publishing a book about it. And the formula basically shows you how to go through that really, really easy. I know I don't see the questions or anything like that, but I promised you that I would share the secret. The secret is this. I sat down after the first Facebook webinar that Barb did 5 or 6 weeks ago with Dawn. I sat down and I worked on the Quilter's Pen. That's where I was going. And then she had her webinar with Dennis about the $5 a day. And right after that, like I think 2 days after that, it seemed to be like right after that, she started with her launch into her PC Espresso. And that's where all of a sudden, oh my gosh, the dots really started connecting. The first product that I made was a week. It took me a week to do. And that was, if I go back, let me go back. That was the HTML, the $7 one. That was this basically that I put out, the editing and formatting. It took me a week to put it together, and it's video. I didn't even write it. And video goes so much quicker. The second one was also to do with publishing. It has not been published yet, but it will be published. And that took me a whole day, and that was the first day following that webinar that that Barb held on her PC Espresso. That's where all of a sudden the dots really started getting connected. And the third one, now here's the secret. The third one was 2 days after writing that second product. 2 days afterwards, I'm like, she's doing a webinar on Monday. This was Sunday, right? I'm saying to myself, she's doing a webinar on Monday. It's on Hangouts. I get hung up on Hangouts. I don't know anything about Hangouts. Well, on Sunday evening, I sat down and I hammered this out. I had never once done a successful Hangout before. Don't let that discredit you. Don't let that discredit me. The formula works. It works because Hangouts work, and I've proven that to myself, and I've proven that to you these past 2 weeks. But it works because of the transcripts coming through YouTube. And I've shown you how people already start sharing the information, your information, or who you are. Look at that, Christine. She put out her thing to 2,200 and some odd people through her email list. They'd never heard of me before. So it's getting your name put out further and further and further. Actually, Christine's list should have heard of me before because we published our books together, so that's slightly askew. But the other people that I've been interviewing, for example, haven't heard of me before. Fran's list in real estate hadn't heard of me before, and she invited her list out there. The point is that you're getting people to actually put your name out there, and it doesn't discredit you. I have published books on Amazon, so I'm not flunkering you on that line. I just had never held a Hangout. First thing I did after that webinar is I contacted Zane and said, I need to understand this one small thing. And he was wonderful about it. He came and showed me how to do it. It works. The formula works. The connecting of the dots work. And you can choose pretty much any niche you want. And here's my greatest challenge. My greatest challenge is simply this. And you guys, 99% of you people listening to this do not have this problem. My problem is that I'm a Canadian living in Germany and I market to the English-speaking world. I do not have English-speaking customers anywhere nearby. They are all, I have to do this 100% on the internet. You guys could actually take the Hangout curation formula and take it to your local quilting club. You could take it to your local sports club. You can take it to your local real estate agent. You can take it to whatever. You can sell it to your sister-in-law. You can. Do you see what I'm talking about? You guys have a lot easier way. You even know, like, you can play with language more than I can play with language. You can play with culture because you watch the television programs or listen to the radios. I have no idea what's going on over in North America. I speak the language, but I kind of feel like a foreigner. The point is simply this. If I can do this, you guys can do it too. And I think, let me look. That's right. So that's it. Host an interview, grab the transcript, publish to Amazon, become the go-to authority in your market. All you have to do is make a decision what the market's going to be and how you're going to attack it. And I give you step-by-step instructions. That's it.
Nice. Alrighty. Well then, Andrea, are we done now with your presentation and slides?
We are done, and I don't know if I have to click on something to give it back to you, or you just take the board back.
Alrighty, let me see, and let me ask you all now, are you seeing my presentation yet? Let me get to that. Hang on. I always love when this happens. Some technical difficulties here, and here. Are we on the air? Alrighty, very, very good. Andrea, thank you so much now for presenting all of that background. What I want to emphasize now to all the folks that are here on this show is what you basically showed via your presentation. Conceptually and in practice, the steps are so simple. It is the tying it together that you managed to pull together so that it makes the process that much easier.
Can I say one more thing to that?
Certainly. Say one more thing.
My greatest challenge is I'm a creative person, and my super greatest challenge is following any kind of a system or a list. It has to be super spelled out and super drop dead easy. And I wrote this Hangout curation formula with myself in mind. It is simply something that I can follow the steps and do it and get it done. That's all I wanted to say to it. So it really leaves no stone unturned. It shows you really every step to do.
Thank you. Yeah, that is very good, very good. And by the way, we're getting comments, and they're wonderful, but the comments are showing up as friends, friends, friends. So if you could basically type your name as to who's saying what, that would be really great. For example, friend really loved your flowcharts, Andrea. And friend also said it's exciting stuff, made it simple, believable. Okay, Mike Fidmore, very good. So Jeff comments, a brilliant presentation. So let's now continue. Right now, what you've learned how Hangouts can benefit you, but not just Hangouts, okay? You've learned how to go out to authorities within your niche, to position yourself as the authority, because you are the one who is now interviewing all of these individuals. You are the one who is putting on the Hangouts. You are the one to whom others will be coming. And having now run the Perking Up Profits show for many weeks now, I can definitely attest that, yeah, this is extraordinarily powerful stuff. Keep in mind, okay, Andrea did all of this in 6 weeks, okay, and I'm not even talking about the curation stuff in 6 weeks. I'm talking about Andrea just getting herself up and running, taking action. This is not stuff that takes you months and months on end. And let me share with you, Andrea had mentioned that she had taken my product creation espresso. This is a slide from one of my other shows where she had attended the call for product creation yesterday, the day beforehand, and then she contacted me. I had no idea who this individual was. I sat myself down. I created a product. I'm almost finished with the actual product, sales page to go, but my gosh, Barbling makes this so easy. It's like firecrackers and strobe lights going off in my head. Think about this now for the moment, folks. That was Andrea's first product, but she wanted to take the product creation aspect and wanted to take the building the business aspect a step further. She connected the dots with her Facebook group from her listening to Don's call, with Hangouts from listening to Zane, and then took all of that together and created the blueprint that she herself is using. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, that is massively, massively impressive. So I want you to ask yourself right now, if you were to follow everything that Andrea had just released, had talked about in our call, I mean, are you going to see the same success? And, well, you know, to be honest with you, the chances are probably not. Not because you're not capable of following what you've just listened to, but the thing is, definitely, you will have that level of success guaranteed, but when you go off on your own, what's specifically missing? The author to walk you through the entire roadmap. I mean, to walk you through all of the action items, the blueprint, the fill in the blanks, the step A, step B, step C. This is the stuff that Andrea has just presented to you. See, remember what you have just seen in this class. We've talked about Google Hangouts. We talked about curation. We've talked about the authority. How, though, do you tie this all together? How do you keep it all straight in your mind? You know, honestly, I can understand if the following is what you're thinking, okay? Hangouts, okay, well, there's Google Hangouts, and you can easily do Google Hangouts. I basically do a Google Hangout every day in a different format. But when you want to consider about tying in Google Hangouts, tying in curation, tying in your authority, well, and we're getting questions on here too as far as getting the credibility. Connecting with the authorities within your niche, how do you do it? What is the precise system? Step 1, step 2, step 3, all laid out in bullet point format. From within your specific niche, connecting the dots like Andrea has done with a quilter's pen. Pin, not quilter's pen, quilter's pin. And so, well, the good news is, well, Andrea did put it together. It's available, and it's available now. So I want you to now imagine, and this is something, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. This is something I've been imagining myself, and I've been taking steps to do as well. All right. Let's say you had everything at your fingertips and you had it in a blueprint that you could follow. Day 1, do this. Day 2, do that. Maybe you need a couple of days. That's okay. But the sequence of steps. Imagine if you had now the ability to know how you can gain that authority status within your niche. And remember also, Andrea had mentioned, and I've seen this, and you can see this too on her Facebook fan page, the Industry Thought Leaders. Every time she does a hangout with an authority, she crafts a custom image that gets shared on her page. And those images, my gosh, they look professional. What do you think that makes Andrea then look to other industry professionals that she contacts, and they're considering, well, gee, do I want to be interviewed by this person? Do I want to be interviewed? Well, heck, yes, I want to be interviewed, because this is the professional authority status that she is demonstrating. Now, when you have all of these ideas, put a number on that value. Okay, put a number on that value. Think about, what would it be worth to you if other authorities in your niche came to you? What would it be worth to you if you got out there online as the go-to person? What would it be like if now the authority news organizations contacted you? CNN, ABC, Forbes, Fortune. What would that be worth to you? I know for me that's certainly worth a heck of a lot. It's what I am currently doing right now. So are you now imagining, how would your business in your niche, the way you're currently doing it now, how would it be different if you were the go-to person within your niche where you are trying to make your mark? How would that be different? So, of course, when you're talking about how would all of this stuff be different, what you want to know, obviously, is, okay, well, how much? And as you know, this is extraordinarily new, actionable material. This is stuff that Andrea has put together that takes a very unique look at Hangouts, Hangouts via creation, with Kindle, with Amazon, with authority. These are techniques that you've seen in our group, Perking Up Profits. I mean, you've seen it every single time Andrea has a new achievement. She posts it. She gives a lot of thought-provoking ideas and lays out step by step. And she's now categorized and put this together in this blueprint. It's spelled out in a PDF, in a particular blueprint, specifically for you. It gives you the keys to how you can now do the same sort of authority gathering online. Honestly, $497 be extraordinarily reasonable price to ask, especially when you start getting the inquiries from the national media that's out there. But I hate to tell you, yeah?
Can I say something?
Sure.
When I started doing my first curation hangouts, I did one with Courtney Kostelecki, and he comes from chiropractors. And because of that, within less than like 4 hours, I also did I post this? I can post this in the Perking Up Profits. I got my first HTML programming for $297 through his. Somebody saw me post to his wall that he was on, like, the Hangout, and they said, "Oh my gosh!" and they wanted me to publish the book for them. It works immediately. You don't even have to have the book finished, because you're using the power of Facebook along with it and the viral nature of connections. It takes this whole, you're connected to everyone to the sixth degree to a totally bizarre and brilliant level.
Very good.
Sorry.
No problem. No problem. Very good. So, in light of that, also consider, how much would the following be worth to you? All right. I want you to now put yourself in the future, okay? You've mastered Google Hangouts. You've mastered curation, All right, so you're imagining this now, all right? You're now the go-to authority within your niche. And interesting, somebody, otherwise known as a friend here, if you could share your name, that would be great, mentioned though in a big niche it would be harder to gain authority. No, that's not the case whatsoever. When I was a total newcomer online several years ago, I immediately burst onto the internet recruiting niche because I made the right connection with an extraordinarily powerful authority, Bill Vick, who is the owner and founder of Recruiters Online. I went from zero to hero by making that connection. So size of the niche, not the issue. So again, now you are now the person that people flock to, that clients flock to when they want to pay money. They want to get the best person within your niche to satisfy their requirements, to satisfy their needs. So again, $297, this would also be extraordinarily reasonable to ask, but I hate to tell you this, that's not the price either. Okay? Now, I'm going to add something that makes this an extremely limited time offer, and this is now for those who are on my call. I'm about to show you my own bonus, and this is what makes this extraordinarily limited. This bonus is going to be available solely to the action takers, to the people who are like Andrea, to the people who are like Alessandro and Britt and other folks in our group, the ones who aren't content with sitting there and wondering what's going on, the ones who want to say, I am going to make this happen. Okay? And now I'm going to make this very special offer. I have opened up, just for me, 101 special bonus spots for the people who are watching this. So tell me now, who here wants to find out how much this whole package is going to cost? I need to see bunches of yeses here. Scrolling off the screen. Okay, we have yes, yes, yes. Very good. Alrighty. Barbling bonus. This is something I'm currently writing. It is not available. This deals with other aspects of Google Hangouts that I guarantee you have never before seen. And you might have noticed in Perking Up Profits, I kind of sort of have been disappearing for a while. This is why. This is a book that I am currently writing. I am going to make it available. It's going to be an authoritative book on mastering Google Hangouts for over 17 different marketing niches. And this is going to be yours as my personal bonus. So again, how much? Right now, you can gain complete total access to what we've been sharing, the Hangout curation formula, for a simple one-time payment, not $197, not even $97, not even $77, and not even $67. You can get the entire blueprint, and I am getting ready now to share the link. As a matter of fact, let me do that. Hang on over here. You can now get the entire blueprint for an entire one-time payment of only $97. So what you can do right now...
$27.
Sorry, I typed 27. Sorry about that.
27.
27. My apologies. Sorry about that. So visit askbeeling.com/hangoutcf. Again, 27, not 97. You're going to receive the Hangout curation formula. You will get my own Google Hangouts book when published, and I will be alerting you all to that in the Perking Up Profits group. So what your next step is, askbeeling.com/hangoutcf. You can visit this link right now and proactively take your authority to the next level, the next step. You want to make sure that you want to grab your copy today, especially to get my personal bonus, because one thing you always need to keep in mind. And I close all of our shows, all of our classes with this. The most powerful secret that I can possibly ever give you. You need to follow the law of proaction. If you want it, if you want to craft your own success online, it is up to you to make it happen. In other words, you must take control. So, we're currently at the end of our show. It's time for questions and answers. Feel free, please, to type any of your questions that you have. Again, the link is askbling.com, Hangout CF. And while folks are typing, let me look to see what questions are being asked. So Kathy wants to know more information on how to get the message out to potential clients. All right, Andrew, would you like to talk a bit about that?
Okay. I would need to understand what actually, I typed in an answer, but I would need to really understand
You're breaking up.
Clients. What kind of clients?
No, you're breaking up. Still.
What kind of clients?
Yeah, you're getting a whole lot of feedback back there.
Wait a minute. Okay, let's try it again.
Nope.
No?
So what you could do is, I suppose you could type your answers under chat in your GoToWebinar, and I can also chat as well while you're doing that. The way that I am getting myself out in front of future clients is several ways. One, my Facebook fan page, also my Facebook group. I also have an authority site online. And what I do is a sequence of getting myself out there, having myself tagged with other individuals, and becoming known as the person who has the answers for the specific niche questions. Does that answer your questions there? Alrighty, very good. Let's continue. And Friend also asks about niche choice. Does it have to be bigger, smaller? Again, that all depends upon what it is your goals are. And this is Mike who is asking that. The niche that you choose, Don Wilson covered that brilliantly. Some people like to go for niches that are strictly profitable, niches that have insane passions, that people are gung-ho about posting their comments, their views. Other people like to have niches that they're personally interested in and that they see that they could talk about it from now until the cows come home. So I personally, if I'm dealing with niches, those are my particular niches that I prefer, because after a while, if you're in it solely for the money, you get bored. You really do. And I know that it might sound kind of odd to say if you're making money with a niche, but if you're not really interested in the content, the expert status and such that you're sharing, it gets old. It gets old real quick.
It does. Is my volume better now or worse?
Nope.
Am I still?
No, unfortunately. Now, also, people are mentioning that they are not seeing the page there. askbling.com/hangoutcf. Is that working for the majority of you? And yeah, I'm aware of friend that the sound is not very good on there. And it might be that the page is slow to load, but it will eventually come up. Alrighty. Oh, some other topics about Hangouts, and this is something I can definitely share. Friend wants to know about Hangouts and SEO. And I was thinking about this earlier because one of the things Zane mentioned is the ability to get high search engine visibility and increase it with search engine, to increase your search engine visibility. Let me show you one of my thingies here. Now, Are we all familiar with Dr. Ben Atkins? He is currently he's currently promoting his Breakout 2000 event, Breakout 2013. I want you now, if you were to go to Google and search on Ben Atkins Breakout 2013, take a look over here, what is number 1, and let me also do that. And if you were to put my space over there, what is then also in the top 10, in this case, number 3 from my blog, and then also my Hangout. Notice how I included the keywords, Breakout 2000, Ben Atkins, in my Hangout. Now apply this to the Hangout curation formula as well. When you're putting together these niche interviews, these authority interviews, you can include the niche in your Hangout topic title. You can include the person in the Hangout title. All of these tricks you can use to build your SEO authority online. And also, as mentioned earlier, the reason why this product, let me first get back to my slide point. There we go. The reason why this was given via GoToWebinar and not Google Hangouts is because right now, since I am in such book writing mode, I have my lead pages, my opt-ins tied to GoToWebinars. I have to do the connection to Google Hangouts, so ideally the next Perking Up Profit show, it's going to be done with Google Hangouts. So I've just been used to GoToWebinar, and it just made it easier for me to do the opt-ins. What other questions do we have? We still have a number of people on the call, and look at, oh, there we go. I was about to say, look at that, my mouse disappeared. Okay, scrolling up. It's amazing, you know, everybody who's asking, they're all friend, so yeah, I can mention what friend says. Okay, friend wants to know if, when we talk about a flagship site, are we talking about a blog, so to say? Well, we are talking about a site at which you post, so you can call it a blog. I mean, barbaraling.com, that is my flagship site, and that is built off of WordPress. Certain people can say, yes, it is a blog, but one of the cool things about WordPress is it can be used for virtually any business use online. So I use it solely right now as my flagship site. And let me see over here. Mary Marilyn Anderson is the one with the link issues on the way to the airport. Yes, we will notify you. The page should be up, Marilyn, so ideally you will be able to get this. Okay, friend also mentions that love the flowcharts. Very good. Glad you have that. Friend also would like to know how to get in touch with the speaker. Andrea, can you please share your contact information, type it into the audience thingy? And then I also see that Andrea shared that she's not big on big niche-wise. Can be a big niche, but who cares? Just want people who spend money, and that's a very, very wise business way to look at it. Alrighty. Okay, Jillian wants to know, does the Hangout curation formula include tips on selling this service to other people? And Andrea, if you could type your answer to that, or you could try to speak and we can see if it works.
I can speak. How's it working?
It's working! Yay!
It's working. Okay, yes. Listen, this is how I use it, and there are small tips in there, and that's going to be built out. And I'm actually thinking, I was thinking that maybe to yes, it's not there yet, but it will be.
And then also
working on that.
You would also be able to join the Perking Up Profits group, and then just also ask Andrea there as well too.
Oh, that means I have to share it with you guys all. No, seriously. It has been written for offliners in mind. As you notice from the target niches that I've been interviewing, I've got a financial advisor, I've got a professional golf player selling his golf lessons. I've got a whole bunch of, I've got real estate agents. I've got offline businesses that are using this, and yeah, that's definitely something that I can share. And that there is one section on the inside once you've purchased, where this information is going to be shared. Some of it's already up there for offliners. I'll put my copy of this webinar in there for you, as well as the PowerPoint that I promised, which just shows the slides that I presented to you today. So yes, and how to sell this to other people. Yes, I think I have not started to put that together, but I can do that. In fact, that's a very good.
Well, you know, one thing that you can consider also in the future when people do buy, just create a Facebook group and let all the buyers in. That's currently how I do stuff with my products.
Yes.
So that's something to consider as well. But what point being made is that this information will be shared. And let me see here. Mike wants to know, having a section for generating interest via Skype, further advice about Google Plus, best usage guide, and also for Pinterest. This is Mike. I think between Andrea and myself, we will definitely both be touching on these aspects via Hangouts, because Hangouts curation, it can be used in a large number of social media sites. Pinterest, Google+, Tumblr, all tied together. And friend just mentioned that they just bought but must go. I hope things are fine, friend, and I'm going to make certain that our next class, people will actually sign up with their names. This would make answering the questions so much easier. And okay, Drew mentions, congrats, Andrea, really awesome stuff. As evidenced by Barb's results, Google Hangouts is quite powerful. Oh my gosh, yes. With Google Hangouts, you can do so much. Google Hangouts, along with curation, it allows you to make videos that get uploaded instantly to Google. I mean, not to Google, to YouTube. If you've ever been afraid to do video marketing, if you didn't want to use Windows Movie Maker to tie together all these different aspects, cut, paste videos and such, Google Hangouts, it allows you to do instant video creation. And as a matter of fact, I can show you how you do this, because you can also then apply this to your own curation as well. Let me go over to my YouTube channel.
While Barb's going over to her YouTube channel, I'd just like to say a shout out to Drew Griffin. Is actually his Install magazine that he's offered as a bonus, that we're going to have the Hangouts for those who purchase, and just cast your business just a little bit further out there into the webosphere. Now we have Barb again.
Right.
I hope you could hear that.
So I want you to notice here what you can do with Hangouts. You can do daily authority tips. And let me go and click on my videos, and you can see I have been doing, now I'm going to have to Google Hangouts now. Hangout, 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 Hangout. Sometimes I remember to put the lower thirds there, and sometimes I don't, but Hangout, 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 Hangout. Every day, and I have to make one today as well, I will use Google Hangouts to just simply put together a very quick 2 to 3 minute video that gets instantly uploaded to YouTube. This is an excellent way to get comfortable with video marketing, to get comfortable with being on the camera. It's just basically start a Hangout, record the Hangout, upload the Hangout. And you don't even have to upload it. It gets uploaded automatically. So yes, Google Hangouts, it's just a no-brainer in today's marketing.
Takes the whole thinking out of it. It's totally drop dead easy. Once you get your first one out, like I said, before Zane came along, before Barb said she was going to do the Hangout webinar, I was just like, I asked Drew, actually. He would have to set up all the Hangouts that if I ever participated in, he'd have to do that. And I'd always get kicked out halfway through. And it was like, oh gosh, I have to find out how to do this. So it is super easy. And one thing that we neglected to say, and that I saw while looking at your YouTube channel, Barb, was that if you're doing a series like I'm doing with the Curation Hangout formula, and I've started every single Hangout by calling it Curation Hangout Formula,
Yep.
Hangout Curation Formula with, this morning was with Christine Abella, with Courtney Kostelecki. And now I have 8 or 9 Hangouts called Hangout Curation Formula. Guess who's dominating? Guess who's dominating Google search for the term Hangout Curation Formula? So if you take your book, whatever you're going to call it, if you take whatever it is that you want to position yourself as, you don't even have to publish a book, but if you were going to do this, for example, if Barbara's going to give her morning Hangout a specific name and positions herself as that master guru, I don't know what else what word she would use, but and to put that in there, she's going to be dominating that. Yeah.
Yep. See, the cool thing about Google Hangouts and social marketing, curation, and everything on the internet, it all ties together. Google Hangouts gives you an extra burst in search engine visibility, and it makes sense, because who owns Google Hangouts? I'll give you a hint. The enter starts with G, ends with E, and there's an OOL inside. And and it's within Google's best interests that they give good search engine rankings to Google Hangouts because they want people to use it. They own YouTube, and it just makes sense. Now, friend just mentioned, I'd like to share the Google Hangout.
That's true.
Oh, this is nice. Presentation SBA score on mobile app development. Since it was live on YouTube and Google+, somebody at Apple watched, viewed the Hangout, inquired to my interest in a position in Apple. That is amazingly, amazingly cool. And that brings up a whole another aspect of curating and becoming an authority online via Google Hangouts and such. You can use this as well offline. If you're considering, for example, looking for a job, or if you want to get an in at a particular company, particular corporation, you can record daily hangouts that talk about the company's products, that talk about your ideas for the industry. Make sure to use the company's name. Make sure to use the position you're trying to get. Rank it well with Google Hangouts. That's also another usage of Google Hangouts. But with the whole idea with curation, with being able to network with the authorities online, adding together Hangouts, curation, Amazon best-selling authors, putting it all together, it's a sequential process that every day increases your authority online. And to me, that is extraordinarily cool stuff indeed. So, other questions? We still do have a number of folks here, and I'll continue to scroll up. And other questions that you might have about Google Hangouts?
Mike said one thing, I think it was Mike, confidence. Confidence is a big issue, and I don't know if it's an issue for Mike, but I'd like to share it with everybody here. Listen, if you feel, I thrive on video. If you could see my face, I'd probably be making some goofy faces, but just having a good time. And I realize that that's not everyone. Okay, but this is what I want to tell you, and Mike or anybody, and even if it's not Mike, but he just mentioned it because he could have just had that insight. Listen, pick up somebody in Perking Up Profits, or pick up somebody that you know online that you trust and say, look, let's just do, Barb has been practicing these Hangouts by herself. Do it with someone. Do an interview with someone. Learn, get to know someone. Just chit-chat. Figure out what you want to say. Figure out how you say it. How do you react? How do you deal with the lag? There's a lag until the other person. Well, I've been talking to people in New Zealand. This morning was Australia. I have not been talking to anybody in Europe. Let's put it that way. Nobody anywhere near my time zone. There's a lag. It's not a major whatever. Get used to all of these little things in the Hangouts so that you don't get hung up on it. Okay? And do that in a small private base. You can do Hangouts without putting them on air, or you can put them on air but put them on private in your YouTube account so that not everyone sees it. And it's a great way to go and learn how to do it. I'm the type of person that I need to have actionables right away. I need to see results immediately. So if I was farting around with Hangouts for like 3 weeks before I did anything, I would not have gone anywhere with them. And so for me, it was just like, all right, I wrote this product, now I got to put the proof in the pudding. You know, I've decided I'm going to launch. I got to do it. There's no way around it, and you got to make it work. But that's the way I roll, and I understand that not everybody does that, which is quite fine. But there's really no excuse for not having confidence. There's that you're using that excuse to not even practice, and that's where the shame. That's where it's really unfortunate, because we all have something out there to share. I know a guy. He's 22 years old. He's sharing a whole bunch of stuff. I'm looking at him thinking, do you know what it was like to have phones mounted to a wall? Seriously. But he's getting out there and he's doing something. And if he has something to share, anybody sitting here on this call has something to share. There's, we all do. And if you're hanging out and perking up profits, you are learning stuff. If you're not learning anything and perking up profits, you must be sleeping when you're there, because there's so much going on. And I mean, I've been making it as obvious as anything. Anytime I see something and I have a moment, I just post it and I lay it right out there for you. But Barb is doing that, and not just us. There's a whole bunch of people doing that.
Right. And what I'd like to jump in on this, it is totally understandable if you might feel that you don't have. What do you have to share that somebody else doesn't already know? But the thing you need to realize, everybody, me, Andrea, Dr. Ben, Dennis Becker, Don Wilson, everybody, we were all beginners at one point. What changed for us was we chose to take control. We chose to say, okay, if we don't do anything, nothing's going to be done for us. And yeah, money is nice. It'd be even nicer if we made some. We're going to learn how to do that. Everybody was a beginner at one point. And if you take a look at my Hangout videos, I mean, yeah, there are times that I stumble. There are times that my mooses run through it. I mean, I think there's one Hangout where there was a Twitter budgie that flew through it. It happens. It shows our humanity. It shows that, yeah, we're not perfect, but my gosh, we've got such great information to share. And honestly, if you have knowledge, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your colleagues to be able to share that as well online. And when you start sharing your knowledge, when you start sharing your information, a wonderful thing happens. You realize and you recognize that, wow, you're providing information that potentially changes lives. You're connecting with people in ways that encourages them, and that continues then in a cycle to boost your confidence as well. I mean, if you go back to one of my older YouTube channels, which is Barbara Ling, instead of Team Barbara Ling, Barbara Ling is tied to one of my older email accounts, you can scroll down to maybe 3 or 4 years ago where I did my first video. It was me talking to a PowerPoint because I was paranoid that I would not be good on camera. And if you're scared about doing videos, if you're scared about being on camera, you can even get this. All right, and this is so very cool. You can even do Hangouts where you're simply sharing your screen. You don't even have to appear on the camera. I have done several Hangouts like that, which is some of my daily tips when I'm just doing tutorials. So yeah, Google Hangouts makes it easy for you to get comfortable with video. It's really a wonderful, wonderful resource. And friend, oh, this is Jillian, says Hangouts are fun. Used to be scared of video. Now she does a Hangout a day. Cool. Very, very good. Because,
and
yeah.
I'd like to say that you do not necessarily have to have a camera. You don't have to run out and buy a camera for your computer or for your laptop. If you have a smartphone, you should be able to do Christine this morning, she was on her iPad that's what she used. But I mean, you can use an iPhone or a smartphone to actually make your video as well, to live stream it to YouTube.
Yep.
I mean, most of us will have one of those video capacities.
And also laptops or other devices will come with video enabled as well. Whenever I'm traveling on to one of the events or to a marketing conference or so, the Hangouts I do, I've done Hangouts that were in the airport via my laptop. And when if you are the interviewee, you can definitely join via the mobile phone. So, yeah, it's just a very simple, very easy way for you to start building your authority online. Any other questions or so? We still do have a number of people, and but I think we have gone over a lot, if not all of the questions that have currently been asked. Let me review what it was that I wanted to mention. Let's see, I talked about Facebook groups. I've talked about SEO. I've talked about daily Hangouts. I've talked about the lower third. That seems to be covering stuff. Other questions? Do feel free. Andrea, do you have anything else that you'd like to share?
No. If you have any questions, simply bring it to the Perking Up Profits. You'll find Barb's link over there to get the product, but we can definitely talk through questions out there, improvements, but also what are you doing with this? Even if you're starting from scratch, whatever, we would love to support you. The community over there is simply phenomenal. Go in there with open eyes. Go in there, seriously, yeah. Go in there with open eyes and observe what's going on. Take the Hangout curation formula and fly with it. It's yeah, and tell us about it so we can sit there and cheer you on. So we can go over to your YouTube video and give you the thumbs up.
Yep.
And encourage your clout over there and help you, yeah, take this to the next level.
Very good. Alrighty. Well, it seems then that we are now at the end of our 7th Perking Up Profit Show. As always, it has been an honor and a privilege to present to you, and it has been great, Andrea, having you as our guest.
It's been my pleasure. It's been nothing but my pleasure.
Wonderful. Alrighty, so then this is Barbara Ling along with Andrea Schmitz. We're signing off, and we will see you on the inside. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.